inspired and motivated by you. So that's the reason we decided to have this interactive session with you. So I would first of all take this opportunity to go ahead and ask you about your schooling and how South Wales came into existence.
Right. So South Vale, first I've studied from Sanar, like, you were my senior. So yeah, so I've done my schooling from Sanar, and I've studied in a day school as well. Before Sanar, I was in Soden. It was a day school, a convent here.
Right.
So South Vale basically came into existence after all my experience here in India, and while I was here, and then I did my MBA from Sydney.
Right.
So when I went through this journey of my education, I saw, it was an eye-opening experience, because from my day school to Sanar, things were very different, and things were very, very progressive. And then when I went to Sydney, and I saw a very different world out there in terms of engagement, technology engagement, and everything. And I felt like Solon is a tier 4 city, and I felt like there was a lot of opportunity here for children to, have a platform where it could be, it was, tech was, education could be actually it could benefit their experience in terms of learning. Right. So South Vale was basically my MBA project.
Right.
After I did my MBA in innovation and entrepreneurship. So,
amazing.
So one subject that I was studying was tech innovation, where we were doing a project with whatever businesses we saw fit at that point of time back in 2016. That they, have, like tech-based engagement where they can increase the engagement of their users. And there, from there, for about 6 months, I worked on South Vale there. So I thought school could probably, benefit a lot with new tech advancements. At that point in time, like Zoom and Google Meet and all of this wasn't popular at all. This was So that's where it started. I made this project with my professor and a project partner of mine. She was heading the TAFE colleges, if you've heard of them in Australia.
Yes, of course, yes.
Yeah, she was a director of those, she was a director in the in that particular division. Okay. So I had a lot of, I gained a lot of insight with how kids were learning there in universities and colleges, and what could we do here in India. So that's how, South Vale was
got into existence. That's amazing. You're doing a wonderful job. So Rishabh, we as a company ourselves are into technology. So we're wanting to ask you a few questions related to the same. Should we go ahead?
Please. My pleasure.
Right. So my first question for you would be, how do you think South Wales has incorporated technology in its everyday learning?
All right. So basically what we do here is, like, I don't think of tech as a very, separate sort of a division here. So how we started with South Vale was, firstly, at that point of time, apps were a very, like right now you see every new business coming up with an app. And now, so at that point of time, no schools used to have their own branded and own backend apps.
Right.
At that point of time, we had invested heavily in terms of investment, in terms of a good student parent platform.
Right.
Yeah. So before I start, I'd probably give a lot of credit to my wife for this. She's a computer engineer, and she is, she's the backbone when it comes to backend solutions, when this cloud and the app system works. So what we did here was that we used tech to bridge the gap of communication between the students and the parents. So what we did was, like, for example, if a child came into the school today, their attendance to what their, we call it a DAT, like a daily academic tracker. So what did they study? What did they, and how, whatever they studied, where did they apply that in their life skill? Like, so everything has to be mapped to a life skill. Like, we explain it to the student that if you learn this properly,
this is how it's going to help you.
Yeah. So this will help you in the real world here. So
Yes.
every topic has to be mapped to a life skill. Then that communication goes on our app and goes to the parent.
Right.
And the parent then gives us feedback on a cloud form every day,
Right.
explaining to us if the child had a good experience and the child, he or she understood what happened today at the school. So our intent would go through and their feedback would come back, and then we would close the, the communication loop. So that's how we used it in the school. So the app is a very, very major system for us.
Right. Great, great. Very good to know. Now, I would want to ask you, would you consider South Wales as a smart school? If yes, what would make you say that?
So South Vale, I think, is a smart school. So like here, almost all our classes are smart classes, and so smart classes as in. So I feel like it's 90% of schools that have smart classrooms, they're underutilized in a big fashion. What happens basically at South Vale is that when you map everything, let's say, for example, a child goes to an art class, they have an art class here. So
Right.
if they go to one, they'll be probably designing graphics or they'll be designing whatever.
Yes,
We
right.
try and put it in their head that you can, design a logo for yourself, or,
Oh,
like you can design.
wow.
Yeah,
That's very nice. You put in a lot of thought, it seems, right? It's
I try, and once they understand that particular division, then what happens is then their computer classes. So their teachers will know now that the child has done this particular work, and then
task today.
yeah. So and then further on, their other classes will supplement that particular thing. Like they'll go and design that logo on a computer platform.
Right. So it's all linked.
We try and link everything so that it makes it very interesting for the kids as well.
I get it.
Yeah.
Yes, right. Okay, that's right. So do you think education technology is here for good, or do you think it's just a fad and it's just going to be here? It came because of COVID and it's not going to last. What's your take on it?
I have a very different take on it. I think a synergy is something that we're going to see in this. Like if your experience, right? So you must see that schools, the way that they came back after COVID, I don't think I've seen a very stable market than this. Like everyone had to go back to school, everyone had to come to school and study, and they could not have done it from home anymore. So there was no choice with children staying back home and studying anymore.
Agreed. Yes.
Yeah. I feel ed tech is going to really, 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 really change the colleges and universities education. Like I study myself. Like I do courses on Coursera, and I study like as many as I can find. And
really, do you still do that side by side?
Yeah, I do. Like,
very motivating. That's nice.
Nothing about that, but I think that's how I get to know
grow and get to know the yes. Okay.
So I try and do those, and I feel like those platforms are so well done that because you're an adult and you can have that that attention span, the way that you can actually see yourself with that experience, like it goes well. But for kids, I think a synergy is going to exist,
right,
where the tech platforms, if they're used properly, like what we're trying to do, their experience in schools and the parents' involvement with the children is going to get better. Like if I give you an example at South Vale, so if I give you an example at South Vale, like so our research told us that a lot of mothers knew a lot about their child's academic performance, but not their fathers. Yeah. So yeah, so because moms would teach them at home, in India.
Right.
So what we started doing was that we started making sure that every father also had access to the app, and then we started mapping their, so we monitor how many people log into the app every day, and when we see a drop in any child, so we'll get a report in the evening, like it's an automated report. Okay. So if the parents have logged in or not. So if they have not, we'll try and get back to them and understand as to how,
What went wrong? Why was that?
So
you as a school are going to progress so much.
No, I don't know about that, but I think it's interesting to see that tech could really benefit the engagement levels, at least in schools, and the education levels at the colleges and universities, postgrad levels. I think there it'll actually help with the courses, and people would study more, better, and get a lot better faculty to teach them as well. I think it'll be a lot of competition in that. It's fair.
Right, I get it. I guess that's right. Yes. Now, my next question for you would be, how does South Vale use technology for the benefits of staff? Like, what all do you do using technology for your staff?
Okay, so the app, basically, we have two basic platforms.
Right.
So one we use Google Cloud as which is integrated to our app itself.
Okay.
So what do teachers? So teachers, all their attendances and everything are done through the app. Their attendances, their leave monitoring. So they know before. Their parent-student communication is done on the app itself. So they have their own message play. So a parent can reach out to the teacher on a secure platform. A student can reach out to their teacher on a secure platform as well. They have a separate login. Both parents and the students have a separate login ID.
Right.
And then, so here we've not launched the student login yet because we're still working around understanding as to what would they require out of their user base. And then a staff basically gets all their communication on the app. They fill in whatever relevant information they require out of the child, like their observation reports, their behavior reports, and their all of those. So those documents are uploaded through their smart devices. So they don't have to really go back, make a register.
So basically it's all technology driven, right?
Yeah, it makes it easier.
Right, exactly. I get it. I'm sure you are aware, we at Dataminerz also do a lot of training and, all of such things. So in future, whenever you feel we can collaborate and help you as a school, we'll be willing to do that.
It'll be lovely because I think that's a very huge challenge because like right now when we're training kids to make their websites and work on an app or something, and as time grows the courses aren't updated. This is actually a very big challenge when it comes to staff training is one of those most crucial things in this. Like for them to adopt a particular technology is very, very tricky. So I think I'll really reach out to you people for sure, because that's
we must do something about it.
That's a huge challenge for us, literally.
Yes, I'm sure. So my next question, Rishabh, would be: what are the challenges you faced while you incorporated all this in your school?
A lot of challenges I faced. First, it was very expensive. So the cost of the setup was really expensive. Then after the expense, then the need, explaining to your stakeholders as to why did we do this and training them to. So
convincing them basically.
No, convince. Actually, I think they were all convinced because that it was a process. But how would they use it for their benefit? So then we had a lot of orientation sessions here at the school where parents would come in, learn how to use the app. Then we had a lot of training sessions for the teachers. So I think the cost.
It's a lot of effort which has gone in, right?
And then, then for them to learn and then utilize it every day, including after their own work, it's quite a challenge.
It's a challenge. Yeah. I understand. Right. So how do you see the future of technology, especially in the education sector?
I think tech is going to really, it can really benefit people by, opening up their horizon in terms of learning. So I think learning would become faster. It'll be more integrated to the real world problems and real world issues. Yeah. So so let's say, for example, we used to teach a website course on, so from the scratch, making a website from the scratch is very, very difficult. And, times have come where, you use Wix or these website builders, they've become a lot faster, So like there's this company called I think it's called some funnel something, which does websites where you can monetize them, like Shopify. So what is happening is tech is really taking the things forward, and for us, it's very important to really keep updated. So it's going to really help children learn things that are going to be used very soon when they.
That's the point, no?
Yeah.
Right, I get it. So how does South Vale incorporate mental development, technology training, and aptitude enhancement for the students so that they're prepared for this real world?
Like I said, so anything that you teach at South Vale, anything. So like a daily academic tracker, like I spoke about it. So what else? Like if I explain it to you, like let's say for example they did mathematics, okay?
Right.
And the topic that they learned today was Pythagoras theorem, right?
Right.
And then so they'll give information about what page is it on the group, like on the tracker, and then say where was this used. So then they'll tell the kids that, let's say for example I'm a civil engineer, so Pythagoras theorem is really utilized where when you plan stairs, a stair.
Right. Yeah. So that's so much information you got into the depth, basically.
Yeah, no, I think it's interesting. So if a child knows that, yes, oh my God, this is where it is used. So
the child will be able to relate.
Yeah, and then they'll be more interested in the topic. So
I get it. So, you're thinking right, yes.
So exactly there. So for example, if they're doing a graphic building, like a graphic design course at the lab, they'll be able to know that, later on they can design their own business logos, or they can.
Yes, that's how education and learning should be, right?
I think so. I think I think there is a way to find synergy, and I think that's my fight.
Perfect. I'm sure you will be there. So Rishabh, this is a lot of good information from you. I think I should not bombard you with more questions. I'm going to just, tell Mr. Maurya and Mr. Rai to quickly join in and say a hello, thank you to you. And then in future, we should connect further.
Please. It was such a pleasure talking to you.
Same here. In fact, we as a team should come visit your school and see what all can be done as well.